So what's up? It's your girl Nisi. And if you don't know by now, I'm just a girl that trades, okay? And today I want to talk to y'all about the next most important thing in trading, aside from your mental, is market structure, okay? So with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, now if you haven't already noticed, yes, your girl did get a mic. Okay, so now we starting to feel like a YouTuber a little bit. But anyways, and also I can't get down with Trading View all the time. Okay, Trading View, mine at least be tweaking. Okay, and I don't have time for that. So I like to write my stuff down. Call it old school, whatever you call it. But I feel more fulfilled when I'm able to write it down. I feel like I have a little bit more control when I write it down. But just a disclaimer. So, when it comes to market structure, we have to understand that the market moves in three ways, okay? In three ways only, okay? I know that you may look at the charts and you see it doing a whole bunch of stuff, but it's only moving in three ways. And these are the three ways here. It's either going up as for an uptrend, down, downtrend, or straight across, in other words, consolidation. Okay. The market can only move like that. That's just what it is. Okay. And an uptrend consists of it. Well, it looks like this. It looks like this. Right. This is what it looks like. Higher highs, higher lows. Okay. It's higher highs and higher lows. Higher high, higher low. It's a higher high because it's higher than the previous high. Sorry, not in the camera. What does that mean? That means if the next high right here, say we're looking at these two right here. If this high here is higher than this high right here, then we're still on the uptrend. Can you see that? So this high right here is higher than this high. And then the next high is higher than the last high, and so on. So when it comes to a higher low, say this is the current higher low, and it makes a new high which is higher than this low right here, is higher than this low right here, and then it comes down and it doesn't break this low right here, then that's a higher low. Higher low. Then we go up, we make a new, let me see, we make a new higher high and another higher low, because why? It did not break the previous low right here. So it's just like this. It goes up higher than the previous high, but higher than the previous low. Higher than the previous high, higher than the previous low. This is why they are called higher highs and higher lows. Okay. Now, a downtrend is just, let me start that again. Let me start here. Boom. My bad. Hold on. Tripping. Boom. So with that, let me get rid of this so you can see. With a downtrend, you have a lower high. This is your lower high, right? This is your lower high. Say this is the high. And then we make a low. Say we're just looking at this right here right now. Right? Say we're just looking at this. Can you see this? You're just looking at this. You make a lower high, you make a lower low. And then it goes up it goes up, and then it stops. It stops right here, lower than the previous high. If it never breaks, if it doesn't go above this right here, this is an arrow, if you didn't know. If it does not go above this, we are still going down. Okay. And if it's lower than this low, that's why it's a lower low. If it's lower than that, we're still going down. So you got a lower high, a lower low, a lower high that did not break the previous high. And then we break the previous low, which creates another lower low, and then we're on a downtrend. Okay. Another way that we can look at it is if I'm going down some stairs, I'm going downstairs. The stairs, what happens when we go downstairs? When we go downstairs, the stairs just getting lower and lower and lower until we get to wherever we're going to. In order for us to go from downstairs, in order for us to go upstairs, the next step that we take have to be higher than the current step that we're on. So if I'm walking and the next step is higher than the current step that I'm on, that is what we call a break of structure, meaning that I now want to go up. So that looks like this. We're talking about a downtrend. So you go, hold on. I am a trader and not an artiste. Okay. So yeah, boom. You got your lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So let's say we do not break this lower low right here. Say we stop right here, right? We stop right here and we go above this lower low right here. Can you see this? This lower low. Say the next break or the next couple candles or whatever the case may be is above this right here. Now you can see how that's a break of structure, because if we want to go down, we need another we will need a lower low, which this right here would have to have been lower than this right here. Again, this is an arrow. This would have had to been lower than this right here, because we want to look like this. Boom, boom. So you got your, hold on. Okay. Lower low. So you got your lower high, lower low, lower high. What's this right here? It broke. As you can see, let's draw the line. Boom. It broke this lower low right here. So we're going down here. This right here did not break this lower low right here. So that means, what does that mean? We're going up. Okay. So that is what we call a break of structure. Now, when it comes to consolidation can look like this. What is that? We're just making the same thing. Everything is the same here. Here and here. It never, we don't have a higher high. As you can see, we don't have a higher high. We don't have a lower low or a higher low. Like, we don't have anything. We're just fluctuating. You know the word. But if I get this right here, boom, I broke that right there. So what does this now become? This now becomes, this is what? This is a lower low. It broke a low. So now it done created a new low right here, a new lower low. So in order for it to be continue to be a downtrend, it cannot break this right here. This is now the high. So we go here, boom, boom, downtrend. Easy. Now, if it's the other way around, hold on. Now, if it's the other way around, then it will go like this. Boom. So what happened? We created a new high. higher high. Now this is now a higher low. So now once it decides to come back, it cannot be lower than this right here. Because if it's lower, then that means now we done made a new lower low. So now we really want to go down. So, but if it doesn't break that, if it doesn't break this right here, and it does like that, we're going up. Why? Because it made a higher low. Hopefully these words not in the way. And if it is, just drop it down in the comments and tell me to redo this video. Okay? Because I will. All right? So, hold on. Whatever for that. So yeah, so uptrend, boom. Hold on. Boom, 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 boom. Downtrend, boom, 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 boom. Let me rewrite it. Let me move it over here. Why am I writing sideways? Like, I'm so confused. That's a little better. That's a little better. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so we got an uptrend and we have a downtrend. Okay, so now I want to talk about what this little part of the trends are called. These here that we see here, those are corrections. Which is the reason why the market comes back, or the reason why the market creates these higher lows and lower highs and stuff like that. It's because imagine us running full speed. It doesn't matter how long you run. But say we're running full speed, we're running. Eventually, what happens? We're gonna have to stop and we're gonna have to take a break. We're gonna have to rest, drink some water, whatever the case may be. Basically, that's what the market is doing. The market is moving up so fast, or down in one direction so fast that it's like, okay, hold on, we got to backtrack. We got to make sure we didn't leave nothing, which is called a correction. So the market makes these corrections, and again, it creates your, like you see, lower lows in the market. But it's also, which can be another video, is entries. These are also entries, okay? Because boom, we get in, we get out. I mean, for a downtrend or whatever. So you get in on the lower on the lower on the lower high, right? Which is right here. You'll get in right here, right? Take that down. Then boom, pull back, get in again. Take that down. Pull back, get in again. Boom. Off really one move. One move. You can stack your trades up or whatever. We're not talking about that right now. But with that being said, I want to get into some live examples. So we're gonna move over to the chart so we can show you. All right.
Okay, so we know that the market moves in three ways, okay, which is an uptrend, a downtrend, or straight across, which is consolidation, okay? And these things are made of higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, and lower lows. I went to a random day, as you can see. See, I clicked the random bar, replay, random bar, just so we can have, enough information or whatever. But if I come to the charts and this is what I see, and I'm looking at this, right? Um, let's look at. We're gonna look at. You look when you look at the chart. You look at left to right. That's what you look at. So if I scrunch out a little bit, I can see that we were, if I start from the highest point here, on a downtrend. Why? Look, I can even take a trend line, just one line, and everything falls up under this one line right here. But we're not here for trend lines. We're here for higher highs, higher lows. So say we have lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. What is this? What is this? A downtrend. Another way to see that it's a downtrend. Why? Because as you can see, say we start here, and yes, my trading view is tweaking. Like I said, it's been doing that lately. Don't know why, but whatever. So say we start here, okay, and then we go to the next lower high. The next lower high will be right here where I marked this at here, and then the next lower high is where? Here. The next lower high is where? Here. As you can see, it's tweaking, but bear with me. Either one of these here can be a high, but either one of these here can be a high. So we just put it right here. I like that one better anyways. Is a high. So the lower highs never broke the previous, hold on, let me change this right here. Never broke, hold on, that's not it. Where the heck what am I looking for? What am I looking for? I'm looking for that little arrow thing. That little drop, yeah, this right here. You know what? I could have used this the whole time, but whatever. So you got this high right here. And this high right here, never broke. This right here did not break this high right here. So what is that? A lower high. So this is the lower high, and it comes down, and what it makes this right here, a lower low. And then it goes up, never breaking the previous high right here, and it breaks this low right here and makes another lower low. What does that mean? We're on a downtrend, that we're still continuing down. Now, once it goes back up here and right here, and it never breaks this right here, it never breaks this right here, then what does that mean? It's a lower high, and we're still wanting to go down. Okay, same thing happens. We go up, make a lower low right here, and then we go up, lower high. It never breaks this previous low right here, because that's the last lower high, and it comes down. But as you can see right here, what happens? It did not break this low right here. Look, I can draw a line straight across. No, my line is not perfect, but I can draw a line straight across, meaning that we did not make a lower low. So now we're either looking for it to break this low right here to say for continuation, or we're looking for it to break this right here, this high, to say that it wants to go up. And what did it do? It broke the last lower high. Let me get my little brush. It broke the last lower high right here, which it did that here. Okay, that's what it did here. It broke this previous. This is an arrow. Okay, this is an arrow. It broke this previous lower high, which is indicating that it wants to go up. Okay, so let me delete this. So So now that it's saying that it is and it wants to go up. Oh, let me delete all this. Now what we're looking for is a higher low, because now this right here is now a higher high. So we're looking for something like this. Boom. That's what we're looking for now. So let's see. Let me just keep going. So, boom. And that's what it did. Hold on. Let me get my arrow back. So it made a higher high, right? It came down, never breaking this low right here, because this is now the lower low. It never broke this low. Came now. It would have been a little tricky here. But as you can see, this would have been a resistance, which is, just more that you will have to understand when it comes to trading or whatever. But what it did do was it came right here. Hold on. Let me do it again because I messed that all up. It came right here, making a higher low. Boom. Going up. Okay. So, boom. Higher high. A higher low right here. Why? Because it never broke this low right here. It never broke this low. So this is a higher low coming up. Again, you have to think about this right here with it being a resistance or whatever, but just act like you don't see that. Then we come down, never breaking this next low here, never breaking this next low here, and we're going up. We went up, we broke both of these highs, so it don't even matter. We broke these highs here and creating a new higher high. So let's do this again. Remove. I'm gonna go back again to a random day, just so we can get some information. Hold on. So boom, what do we see here? We're just gonna look at this. You can always draw your arrows. Nobody said you couldn't. So say we start here, because you don't really have to go too far back depending on what type of trader you are. But say we start here. Let's see, and we're just gonna draw just to see what we have. So you got boom, a low, a high, a low, a high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. So what do we have? We will have, what would this be? So boom, we have this and we have this, right? We're starting from over here. So we have this right here. Let me make sure I got my arrow. This would be so far, if we're just looking at, hold on. No, that might be too confusing. Whatever. So far, we broke this high right here. We broke this high right here with this. We broke that high. And we have this low right here. This is your high. This is your low. So we go up, breaking this high, and then boom, we come right here, creating another low. What does that indicate? Indicates that we're on an uptrend. So we go up again. What happens? We break this high right here. We now break this high right here. What does that say? That we are still on a uptrend. Okay. Then we come down. We made a new low. Is that low lower than this low? No. So what does that say? That we're going up. Okay. We come up again, and this high right here is still above this high right here. Okay. Meaning that we're still on an uptrend. Okay. Now what happens is, now you have all of this right here. You have all of this right here. What happened here? This right here broke the previous higher low, indicating a break of structure. What does that mean? That means now we're changing directions. Okay. So boom, we broke that, and what do? We made a new low. So after we made a new low, once it once it goes up, as you can see that it did, once it goes up and creates a new high, as long as it doesn't break the last high right here, which is right here, it's a little curved. Let me change. Let me change that. Hold on. Okay, one day. I'm gonna change this whole thing. Okay, as long as this high right here, the next high, doesn't break this high right here, we are now trading view is tweaking. This is an arrow. As long as it doesn't break this high right here, we are now on a downtrend. Okay, and as you can see here, hold on, you got an eraser on this thing, whatever. So boom, we got this low right here, we got a high. What does that indicate? That we are on a downtrend. Okay, so I got this. So now that we're going down, we had a small pullback, as you can see we did, which did not break this low. But again, when you take into play, support and resistance, things like that, then you will have better understanding. But that's for another time. Here, a little small pullback here, but it's still, this right here, this high still never broke this high right here. So what does that say? It still says that we want to go down, in which we did here. Why? Because it never broke the last low. It never broke the last. Oh, I'm sorry. Because it did break the last low. Okay. So it's saying that we want to go down because we broke the previous low. So you can do something like boom. So like I said, so you have this boom and boom, right? So we're looking for another pullback and another drop. Okay, that's what we will be looking for to say that that's what we want to do. Continue on down. So hold on, let me get this together. Why? Because here's the low. It broke the last lower low. So it will come back as long as it don't break this high right here. We're still on a downtrend. So let's see what happens. Boom. Small pullback, but I mean, sometimes it may not be as drastic as this. We may just do a little bit and then drop. You do a little bit, or sometimes we might come all the way back to this right here and then drop. But what did I say? That we are still on a downtrend. As long as it doesn't break this right here, we're good to go. So I'm gonna do one more and then that's it. So replay, random day. I just feel like it's just best to do that. Okay. Now I want to show you this right here. So if you see this right here, boom, boom. What's happening here? It's going straight across. Like nothing is happening here. So what is that? Consolidation. Again, same thing here. Boom, boom. Consolidation. Same thing. That's what that's just going straight across. So that's actually a great example there. Random. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. Boom. Automatically we have consolidation. This here is just consolidating. Why? Because we don't really have any higher highs or any higher lows, honestly. Me, I would be looking for a break. Well, I'd be looking for a break of this low right here. That don't matter. Oh snap. All right. We have consolidation right here. Hold on. My stuff tweaking. Okay. Boom, which is you see boom, 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 boom. Like it's really nothing going on here. That's nothing. Let's play it a little bit and see if we can get something. Let's see what we can get. Okay. So we have a boom, 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 boom. What is that? What does that look like? A downtrend. Okay, why? Because we have a high here and we have a low. Then we have another high. And then we have another low right here. So you have the high, then you have the low, right? And then you have this high right here that never broke this previous high. Then you have a low, and what did the next couple candles do? It broke this low right here, going down. So you'll be, you're looking for a pullback, and then boom. It may not be that high, but it's still going to pull back, and it will drop lower than that. Okay. So let's see where we at. Hold on, let me get my yellow line out the way. Let me let it pull back itself. Get my brush back. Boom, it pulled back. Boom, it pulled back. Boom. Here's a low. Here's a high. Here's a low. Here's a high. Okay. The heck? Okay, there we go. Low, there's a high. There's a lower low, lower than this low right here. Then there's a high. Then there's another low, lower than this low right here. Then there's a high. In order for it to break structure, it will have to be higher than this high. Hold on, that was excessive. Hold on. It will have to be higher than this high right here. Okay, so let's see what we get. Do we get a continuation or do we get a break? Looks like we got a continuation, because why? We have a high, then we have another low. Why? Here's the high, here's the low. Let's see what it wants to do. Now we looking. Boom. Now look at that. Look at that. We have another boom. We have a high, right? Because it never broke this high right here. Then we have a low. But what did the low do? The low, or what did the low, what didn't the low do? The low did not break and create another low lower than this low right here. Automatically, that should tell you, like, hey, I want to go up. So you got that boom, boom. Then you got that boom. Here you go. Here. Boom. Now, yes, this one would have been a little, you'll have to play other factors into this, because you have this, but it still did not go lower than this low right here. It still did not create a lower low, still indicating that you want to go up. And what happens? It breaks and it goes up. It breaks this low right here. So really, that's it. Okay. So hopefully, let me bring my So hopefully, you got something from that. Hopefully that was a great explanation. If not, again, just drop down in the comments and tell me to do it again. I do it over, and I try to do it. I try to simplify it better than what I did, or whatever the case may be. But it's really that simple. This is just the base of trading. Like, you have to know the base of it. And really, that's it. So with that being said, I'm out.